From the glove compartment of Thelma and Louise's Thunderbird, it's the IGN Digigods. Please welcome the last king of Scotland, Wade Major and Mark Kaiser.
Yeah, no attribution that time. That's I think that was one you wrote.
Me?
Yeah.
You know what? I like this one.
Yeah.
Why don't you ask who wrote that one, Bob?
Oh, who wrote that one, Bob?
Mark Kaiser.
Yeah, there you go.
Wade, there's only one Stupid for Movies left, Wade.
So I've heard.
And by the way,
Yes.
even though there's only one Stupid for Movies left, we have to say that the DVD Digigods podcast
Will continue.
will
forever.
continue. It ain't. Although someday we'll have to become the DVD streaming gods.
Yeah, well, we'll see what takes place.
Because you know what? Here's the thing. For some reason, right now, I'm in a full-blown DVD to Blu-ray conversion thing.
Yeah.
I'm converting as many of my DVDs to Blu-ray as I can buy for nothing.
Yes.
Trading in DVDs, begging you for the occasional Blu-ray, all that sort of stuff. And I realize that
I hit the mic.
you can stream all you want, but it's still not as good as a Blu-ray, and you don't have the extras. So yes, streaming is great. I love my Netflix, but the movies that I love, I want to own on Blu-ray.
Latest developments this week, by the way. Netflix, huge increase in subscribers.
60%.
60% over last year, yet not as much as analysts were expecting. Stock took a huge hit.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
So it's interesting. I mean, you know how that is. It's like, yeah, you were bigger, but not as big as we thought you would be. So in our minds, that means it's a setback.
Because you know what? These companies are all beholden to their stockholders, not the customers.
Two other interesting bits. They just signed an exclusive agreement for all streaming rights to DreamWorks animation stuff, and DreamWorks Animation beat expectations on the market, which is astonishing because they were just like going down in flames for a second.
Well, that's Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, but that's fascinating. And then in a related story, did you hear what's happening with Hulu and Fox?
Well, Hulu might be unloaded.
No, but Fox is saying that if you want to watch immediately any Fox shows on Hulu that you missed on television, you have to prove that you are actually a cable or a satellite subscriber.
Well, authenticated streaming, as they call it, is going to become way more popular. Because here's what's happening: is that you get a lot of these networks now, a lot of these companies. They saw the value in having a piece of content go everywhere, but now they're starting to rethink that, and they're taking a lot of their content back. They don't want their content in 65 different areas where they get nothing for it. They'd rather have their content in 3 websites, their own website, Hulu, and Netflix, and then at least they know at least they know where their content is. At least they can monetize. They know what's coming in. So now you get a lot of these companies are really pulling their product back from all these websites, and they're also going through YouTube, and they're cleaning up YouTube. They're cleaning up YouTube. The network that I work for, actually went through, and I believe we actually hired a bunch of just kids to literally go through YouTube and pull all unauthorized postings of our network's shows.
I don't even
know.
There
were thousands.
There were thousands.
It took them months to pull down. Every time Johnny Nobody from nowhere puts up a clip of the girls next door,
and how do you?
They went through and put them down.
How do you police that going forward?
Well, it's getting easier, but the main thrust of it was this huge month-long.
When all the downfall videos were removed from YouTube, it took about a month before a whole new onslaught started appearing. They're like termites. I mean, you're never going to control this to the extent that everyone wants to.
You know what really annoys me about that whole those downfall videos, is that Downfall is a great film.
It's a great film.
It was one of the best films of that year. It's a great film, and now it's just known for this.
Yeah. And now a lot of people, when they watch it, that incredible moment at the end will just trigger all kinds of Snickers.
Ooh, I like Snickers.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite candy bars. By the way, Wade, I still have some Nutella bacon ice cream from last week. You want any?
Moving on.
Why don't you eat bacon?
Ugh.
You eat beef.
No.
You just ate a hamburger right now.
No, it was a turkey burger.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's why I only go to Carney's and Fatburger, because they have great turkey burgers.
You know, there's a Fatburger like 100 yards from my place.
I know. Oh, believe me, I know. Oh, yes, I know. We're going to start off by talking about Peeping Blog. And you ask, why are you going to talk about Peeping Blog? What in blazes is Peeping Blog? Why, it's the paranormal activity of stalker films, according to Horror Grind.
Well, you know what? When Horror Grind says it.
Well, you know what? We didn't even request this. This actually just got sent to us from the good people at Music Video Distribution, MVD Visual, otherwise known as. And it's because this is a Creep Creeperson film. And we reviewed...
Creep Creeperson's Ding Dong Dead.
Starring our good friend Luke White Thompson.
That's right.
So this is another Creep Creeperson film. I wish Creep Creeperson would use his real name. It's kind of like... Wait. Are you saying that's not his real name? No, it's like McG or something.
Yeah, it's the worst.
So, he produced and wrote and directed it, so he has no one to blame but himself. And there it is. It's Creep Creeperson's Peeping Blog. It basically, it's exactly what it is. It's an attempt at doing like a stalker film in Paranormal Activity style. And is it very good? No. But you know what? There it is. It's out there for those of you that saw Ding Dong Dead and you just can't get enough of that guy. There he is. And then in somewhat the same vein, also from the people over at Music Video Distributors, is the Puppet Monster Massacre, which I know you're fond of, Mark.
I like puppets and I like monsters. Not that much of a fan of massacres.
Well,
so it's got 2 out of 3.
This is... I'm not quite sure why this has won Animated Film Awards, but whatever. This is kind of like taking Muppets to a perverse level. What do you want? It's exactly what it purports to be. It is a very strange and obscure title. You won't find it easily. You'll find it if you go online and search for it.
It's definitely on Amazon.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Wow. Go figure.
Well, it's a comedy. I mean, it's obviously a big. It's a big.
Wow.
It's a puppet homage to the horror films of our youth.
It is a very strange and perverse idea, executed with some panache.
Yes, some panache.
Some panache. Maybe even a pan of chocolat. Oh,
I'm hungry.
No, you're hungry.
I'm always hungry.
All right, so we started off with a couple of duds. Let's move into something really cool. Let's talk about Criterion's right off the top.
Why should this show be any different from any other? We start off with a bunch of duds.
I know. There you go. Criterion has a line called Eclipse. This is all the stuff that wouldn't normally really justify a full-blown Criterion release. These are films that are worth releasing, usually foreign films, but they need to box them up in sets so that the set justifies it, or the theme, the overarching, the blanket concept is what you're really selling here. And this one is really interesting. This is number 27. Can you believe they've already had 27 Eclipse releases? That's
Seems
unreal.
like it's been a while since number 26.
Man. Anyway, this is Raffaello Matarazzo's Runaway Melodramas. And I know what you're thinking. Who the hell is Raffaello Matarazzo? Well, you have to go back to the 1940s and the 1950s. And... Matarazzo was an Italian filmmaker.
Well, he was doing what they weren't doing at the time elsewhere in the country, which is all the neorealism stuff.
Correct. They had kind of abandoned all those costume dramas and all that sort of stuff. And Matarazzo was, he was stuck with the old school, a lot of the old traditional concepts. And I don't know that I'm really that fond of these films, but I understand that they are historically significant. The films included here are Chains, Tormento, Nobody's Children, and The White Angel. All of them, 133. They fit very nicely on your widescreen television with big black bars on the sides, if that drives you crazy. But you know what? I mean, it's almost like, from a thematic standpoint, he foreshadows Bresson, or Bresson, for those who don't want to actually pronounce it correctly. But in a much more lavish way. They're interesting. They're very nicely photographed, very well executed, not at all what I would have expected of Italian film from that period. So, there was another flip side to the neorealist experiment.
And you can experience that flip side.
Yes, you can.
With this box set.
And then we also have from Criterion Todd Solondz's life during wartime. If you didn't see this, we got this on Blu-ray. It doesn't really justify a Blu-ray. I can't think of any Todd Solondz film which does. They're not, shall we say, stylistically all that dazzling. I mean, they're well made, they're well written, but they don't sort of wow you visually. So I think you'd be perfectly fine with the DVD of this thing, even an up-converted DVD. But
Criterion, they like to attach themselves to modern-day auteurs.
Yes.
You know, the Paul Thomas Andersons and the Bottle Rocket guy.
Wes Anderson. Yeah. Paul Thomas Anderson, Wes Anderson. They're both Anderson.
When was the last Wes Anderson film?
It was that Mr. Fox thing that you liked.
Oh, I love that movie.
I know you did.
That was my pick for animated film of the year.
I know. Not mine. Anyway, this is an official director-approved edition. And Todd Solondz, for those of you that don't know, is a very disturbed young man. I've met him. He's very nice. He's very polite.
It's always the quiet ones who are
It's always the quiet ones, exactly. This is actually basically a sequel to Happiness, although with different actors playing the various parts. So if you've seen Happiness, you sort of have to connect the dots and go, okay, that actor, all right, that's that character and that's that character. And, you know, it's a little bit of what he did in Palindromes, where in Palindromes you have all these different actors playing one part, and it changes every so often. You go from like a young white girl to an older black woman, and you know,
which is very much like I'm Not There, the Bob Dylan film.
Yeah, it's a little. You know, he likes to do things that are extremely avant-garde and creepy and weird and aggressive. Anyway, Life During Wartime just continues the adventures of all of those incredibly dysfunctional people from Happiness. And it's not as good as Happiness. Happiness is a deeply disturbing movie.
Oh, yeah. Dylan Baker?
Oh, jeez, that movie just gets under your skin. But this is actually very good. I kind of felt like this was a return to form in a way. I thought Solondz had gone a little bit afield. So there it is. But I think you're probably fine with it. They didn't send us the DVD, but I'm going to say you're probably fine with the DVD. Léon Morin Priest. This is a Jean-Pierre Melville film featuring the amazing Belmondo, who we had the privilege of meeting about a year and a half ago or so. You know,
yes, when LAFCA gave him our Lifetime Achievement.
Yeah. He was the man. He was there looking like James Bond with those women on either arm. I still don't know who those women were. Anyway, they were
hired by him to make him look more French.
Yeah, I suppose. This is from 1961, and Belmondo is pretty great. He. This is one of the Melville films that is not necessarily obviously by the title you would imagine it's not a gangster film, but it is about repression and doubts and a lot of those heavy quasi-religious and very heavily social issues that permeated French films in the 1960s. And you know what? It's good. This is the Blu-ray edition, and highly recommended. Lots of good extras, as you would expect. And then last Criterion, before we move on to things, is the long-awaited High and Low Blu-ray edition, which, you know what? You got to get it. It's Kurosawa, right?
And what's funny is that it's a Kurosawa film, but it's starring Mifune, but it's based on an American crime novel.
By Ed McBain.
Yes.
Who really doesn't exist. You know, Ed McBain is not the real name of that author.
That's Stephen King.
No.
No.
I used to read Ed McBain novels all the time, though. Those were great crime novels.
Yeah, they were like Elmore Leonard-y sort of hard-boiled stuff.
Really hard-boiled stuff. And there was like a detective who was in a lot of them was Meyer. Like, that's gutsy. Meyer. And that's cool.
And his wife, Golda Meyer.
There you go.
Well, what's great about High and Low is that it has this really juicy little premise at its center.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
You know, when Toshiro saw that his son was kidnapped, he was willing to pay the ransom. When he realizes that by mistake his chauffeur's son was kidnapped, he's suddenly not so willing to pay the ransom.
Pretty cool.
So
it's pretty
that
cool.
was a little more dilemma.
All those Ed McBain novels were really, really great back in the day, and I don't know why they didn't make more of them into American films. I really don't. They just they would have been great in the 70s. Would have been perfect stuff for the likes of Frankenheimer to do.
Yeah,
would have been great.
Totally.
Don't know why they didn't.
Totally perpendicular. Speaking of totally, Wade and I were big fans of Moon, which is the directing debut of Duncan Jones, the son of David Bowie.
Who was born Zowie Bowie.
Who was born Zowie Bowie, so he's a smart man to go ahead and just say, you know what, not into the Zowie. It's like all those Zappa kids, honestly.
Moon Unit. Dweezil.
The worst. God, what happened to Dweezil Zappa?
He's got his band, you know. It's like there
was
like
50 years old or something.
There was, you know, who else is like 50? Isn't Pauly Shore like 50?
You know, Pauly Shore's brother just. I used to hang out with Pauly Shore's brother, and he just tried to friend me on Twitter.
Oh, did he? And did you agree to do it?
Well, I don't really go on Twitter. The only reason why I know that he tried to friend me on Twitter is because when somebody does, I get an email to my personal account.
Oh.
So it said, you know.
Yeah.
He wants to be a friend, and I haven't logged into Twitter yet. Anyway, we were very curious to see what Duncan would do next, and now we know. It is Source Code, which is the Jake Gyllenhaal, Michelle Monaghan film. And this is a terrific film. This, you know what? It's one of those strange films that it really makes absolutely no goddamn sense. I mean, let's face it. It really doesn't. But you're so involved in it that you don't really care that it doesn't make any sense.
I actually think it makes a lot of sense.
Do you
but
really?
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I like about Source Code. You know, it was about, and this I don't want to give anything away substantially, but it was part of the way through Source Code when it occurred to me that this is not meant to be a science fiction film like The Matrix or any of those other, what's real and what isn't real movies. No, it's intellectually more like The Menagerie, the Star Trek.
I think it wants to be like that. I don't know that I bought it. I don't know that I think that its aspirations were a little higher than the reality.
Yeah, but you know what? Geez, it's a thinking man's science fiction film. We don't get many of those. Usually, Andrew Niccol is the only guy who's ever given us like thinking science fiction films in recent years, and it's nice. Duncan Jones is now doing it too.
Bring him
on.
I'm kind of knocking Source Code, but I did like it a lot. You're somehow he involves you in it, in the mysteries, in the twists, in who is Jake Gyllenhaal's character. You're so involved in that it just. You don't really have time or really interest in questioning what's going on. What is the source code? I still don't quite get it. But,
neither do I, but
it doesn't matter. But it looks good on Blu-ray. There's a whole bunch of special features, including an audio commentary with Duncan Jones and Jake Gyllenhaal. And it's good stuff. I say you should at least rent it.
Okay, Mark, we're going to blow through these MGM releases. You know, MGM releases through 20th Century Fox. And there are a whole bunch of catalog titles that we're just gonna cascade through. We'll alternate here. Yeah, we're gonna alternate because they're all just catalog titles and they're all very, very mediocre transfers. But they're on Blu-ray, and if you just want to switch up to Blu-ray and you don't care that it is like is it 1,000% better than the DVD? No, I'd say it's maybe like in every one of these cases varying anywhere from 85 to 90% better than the DVD, which is really kind of marginal. Honeymoon in Vegas, I used to think was a really middling comedy until the era of Katherine Heigl was upon us, and now I just think this thing is like, might as well be His Girl Friday. It really, you know what I mean? It's like, geez, wow, we've gotten so bad that now this is like a masterful classic comedy.
Well, that was my reaction to Crazy Stupid Love, which has a lot of terrific moments. I mean, terrific adult moments, not terrific, oh, that's not bad for a Katherine Heigl film moments, like terrific, mature, romantic comedy moments. And you're like, you know, compared to everything else that's out there, Crazy Stupid Love, for all its flaws, it just feels like His Girl Friday.
Well, this was written and directed by Andrew Bergman, who really has not done enough. Honestly, Andrew Bergman has not made enough stuff. I mean, Risky Business, and then like what else?
Nothing. I mean, nothing really.
Come on, the guy, make more movies, man. Come on, come back to us. Honeymoon in Vegas, of course, James Caan, Nicolas Cage, Sarah Jessica Parker. It's funny. What can you say? It's just funny. Nicolas Cage, in a rare moment when he was not overacting all beyond comprehension. And is that pa-ah-ah or pa-ah-ah-ah? I mean, come on, that stuff's funny. It's good.
It is funny.
It is funny. Not a great transfer, but it's a funny movie.
Also, funny, sort of, kind of, is from 1987, Overboard. This is an old Goldie Hawn, Kurt Russell film. And this is a movie where Kurt Russell plays a handyman who learns how the other half lives. The other half, of course, represented by Goldie Hawn, who is like this rich heiress. And there's a lot of funny lines in the film. Russell and Hawn have a nice little banter together. It's directed by Gary Marshall, and it's not bad.
And they're thinking of remaking it.
As well, they should. Are they really?
Yeah. Isn't that insane?
I didn't
like really Overboard?
I did not know that.
I mean, it's fine, but if you're going to really? Is there an audience out there that's just going like, "Oh man, I wish they remade Overboard"?
Well, the thing is that movie's been done so many times. There's the blue collar the blue collar slob who finds out how the
every single movie with Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson is basically a remake of Overboard. Four Weddings and a Funeral, classic, brilliant. This kind of began a whole wave of British independent films. And it put a lot of people on the map, including Richard Curtis, who previously had basically been, who wrote it and who had been just primarily a TV guy, created, a lot of stuff for Rowan Atkinson, Blackadder, and Mr. Bean. And Curtis has gone on to direct. And
he's great.
He's terrific. And, Mike Newell directed, did a great job. Rowan Atkinson, of course, is in it in a brief little part as the bumbling priest. But Hugh Grant and Andie MacDowell, just delightful. What's happened to Andie MacDowell?
She got old.
It's no excuse. Men get old.
Yeah, but in Hollywood, men can age into different sorts of roles. Women cannot do that.
Well,
Wedding Days is a terrible comedy from 2006. This stars Jason Biggs and Isla, whatever her name is, Isla. What's her name? Isla?
Isla Fisher.
Isla Lucy Fisher.
Isla Fisher.
And this is a movie about a guy who just lost the love of his life, so he goes ahead and proposes to the first girl he sees, a waitress, played by Fisher, and it's all about what happens when it's pretty much the story of a shotgun wedding.
Yeah.
It's a comedy about a shotgun wedding.
There you go.
Is it funny? I will give you a hint as to whether or not it's funny. Have you ever heard of Wedding Days?
No.
Okay. This is from 2006. It's not good.
Okay. It's okay. The Cutting Edge. I've made fun of this many times, but it's not bad.
It is one of those cheesy, like early 90s?
It's just, you know what? It's a bit of a, it's like it's kind of cheesy melodrama, but they skate, and something about the whole bit on ice.
There were so many movies like that back then. They just everything from like the Karate Kid to Be About Last Night.
Yeah, it's like the hockey player,
Dirty
and
Dancing.
The hockey player and the prima ballerina, or the figure skater, and they'd fall in love. And come on, there's a little thing to it. And I got one reason why I have a soft spot for this movie: the director,
Wade Major,
Paul Michael Glaser,
Eh.
or rather Paul M. Glaser. But you know what? Hey, you're still Starsky to me.
No, you are still the director of The Running Man.
That's right.
To me.
Yeah.
From 2003 comes another catalog title being crapped out. Although there's a whole lot of extras on this movie called A Guy Thing. Is a Guy Thing, which stars Jason Lee, Julia Stiles, and Selma Blair. Is it worth watching? Absolutely, positively not. But I got to say, for a catalog title that's really crapped out, it's not bad. It's got an audio commentary and deleted scenes, alternate ending, and the problem is that the movie sucks. I like this film.
Did you like it?
I kind of did.
Yeah,
and you know
it's
what?
not bad.
And here's the thing with this movie. I mean, it's not as good as Get Shorty. We're talking about, of course, Be Cool.
Be Cool, the sequel to Get Shorty.
But I tell you, The Rock. This is the first movie where I said, "Oh my God, The Rock is great."
He is. He is terrific in this. Here's the thing. It's directed by F. Gary Gray, who does not have, I think, the same sense of timing that Barry Sonnenfeld has. And Barry Sonnenfeld, really...
he's got great comic timing.
He's got terrific comic timing and should not have been making a lot of these kind of big, flamboyant, effects films. He really should have been focusing on smart little comedies. And there's some nice stuff in this. Again, not as good as Get Shorty. It just misses the... in Get Shorty, everything kind of came together in a really cool way. But, look, Travolta's terrific and Uma Thurman's terrific. And, The Rock is fabulous. It's a decent sporting cast. It's fun. It's all right. So, and then not in that same vein, this is a slightly more shocking film on Blu-ray that we have gotten. This is, of course, the Tartan Library. We should backtrack a little bit here. Tartan was bought, and everybody thought Tartan films would go away forever. All those cool, horror films and Asian imports, and it is now back. And everything's getting re-released because Palisades Pictures bought them, and it's now Palisades Tartan. So the library is coming out again under Palisades Tartan Asia Extreme, as opposed to just being Tartan Asia Extreme. And this is a film called Matrimony, subtitled Till Death Do Us Part. The artwork here is a picture of basically severed, someone is holding in their hands a severed, bloody hand and removing the wedding ring.
What?
Removing the wedding band.
What?
Yep. Pretty nasty. You almost can't comprehend how deeply, deeply disturbing this film is. I was not able to get through the whole thing because I would like to keep my memory of David Lean's Blithe Spirit gleefully intact. This is kind of like a really twisted Chinese version of Blithe Spirit. And I mean that in absolutely every conceivable way. If you imagine Blithe Spirit as a horror film done Chinese style with a lot of really creepy stuff, this is not just a Chinese ghost story, which in fact the original Chinese ghost story, none of the Chinese ghost story movies are all that scary. They're just fun. This thing's freaky. A little too freaky for me, but really well done. So if this is your vibe, hey. But don't watch it late at night.
I won't watch it at all. Trust is a very strange film that got really mixed reviews. Trust is a movie starring Clive Owen and Catherine Keener, and it is about a girl who, all I'll say is it's very hot topic, very hot button topic. It's about a girl who gets involved in this sexting thing, this teen sexting craze,
gosh.
and all this, and she winds up with. She winds up befriending this online predator, and there's lots of dangerous stuff going on. And so it's very of the moment. The film was directed by David Schwimmer. And
who is a really good director, by the way.
Well,
he really is.
Well, here's what he has that works in this film, and here's what he doesn't have that sinks this film. What he has is he has empathy for his actors. He's good at crafting the performances. What he's not necessarily good at is propelling the story, getting us involved, moving it along, sweeping us away. That's not really his thing. His movies are very slow. The Pallbearer was kind of the same way, which is a film I liked. So Trust is really not a bad film, considering it touches on this really trendy hot topic that might have had some prurient little layers to it, but he doesn't really go there. He kind of goes the smart way. I just wish that he could kind of like, you want to take the movie by the lapels and go, just go, move, go.
Make everyone drop acid.
I did that before I watched the movie.
You know who else did that?
Oh, Timothy Leary.
Well, not quite. Yeah, Timothy Leary factors into what I'm going to talk about right now. Timothy Leary helped Otto Preminger drop acid.
Is that right?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. Otto Preminger, Groucho Marx, and Jackie Gleason all dropped acid to prepare for this film.
Oh, you made it a lie.
That's true. Skidoo. This very bizarre artifact of the counterculture era from 1968, a pivotal year, mind you. This is the year before this is the first year of the movie rating system. In 1968, the very first rated movie ever to win was the only G-rated movie ever to win. That's Oliver. The next year, the only X-rated movie ever to win, which was Midnight Cowboy. And this is just a twisted, weird, drug-inflected psycho
Yeah, but
bomb.
check out this. Read some names from the cast list.
Carol Channing in her freaking boat. It's just bizarre. Carol Channing, Jackie Gleason, Frankie Avalon. Groucho Marx plays God, in quotes, gangster named God. Mickey Rooney, George Raft, Cesar Romero, Burgess Meredith, Peter Lawford,
George Raft,
Frank Gorshin, and yes, Burgess Meredith and Frank Gorshin, both in this, not playing Batman villains. You got it. It's just unbelievable. And really, Otto Preminger directing, you're thinking, how could they fail? They failed. It tanked. It was just a completely psychedelic misfire. And no point really going into the plot because there's not much of one. Suffice to say, if you want to watch a movie that is just completely 100% ripped out of the whole psychedelic era and a movie that just screams, wow, I thought up all of this stuff on an acid trip and I thought you'd find it interesting, I'm sorry that you don't. That's this movie. It's Skidoo. It's out from Olive Films, originally a Paramount film, but Olive has very smartly licensed a lot of these obscure titles from the Paramount library that Paramount doesn't know what to do with. So this is a curiosity piece, worth a rental, I think. Because
I think too. I mean, it's such an oddball film.
It's such an odd movie, and definitely worth a rental because you will watch this and you'll go, really? Paramount made this? Because we just saw a movie that Paramount made called Cowboys and Aliens. That's what Paramount makes today. Back in the day,
they made Skidoo. Yeah, Otto Preminger, not my favorite comedy director.
Yeah. We're going to go through a bunch of these Echo Bridge titles that kind of the Miramax titles. But first, something from Echo Bridge that is not from the Miramax classics is the trio of Puppet Master films that you can get either separately or together. Puppet Master, The Curse of the Puppet Master, The Human Experiment, and then Puppet Master 4 and 5. 1, 2, and 3 are out there if you feel like you really have to be complete about the Puppet Master series, because there's so much about this rich saga that just improves with every subsequent film. Not really, no. It's just the same nonsense over and over. But if you love these movies, if you just cannot get enough of the crazy murderous puppets, well, there you go. There's more of them out there. Just real quickly here, some new Miramax classics from the library that have been re-released, courtesy of Echo Bridge. Remember, Echo Bridge is releasing a lot of the kind of second-tier titles, while the really A-list stuff that they're adding new extras to are coming out from Lionsgate. And I got to tell you, a lot of really good stuff here that they're giving over to Echo Bridge. So don't let that dissuade you. Echo Bridge has inherited a lot of great movies. Her Majesty Mrs. Brown is one of the great films of the last 20, 25 years, a performance as Queen Victoria by Judi Dench that should have won an Oscar. And Billy Connolly, one of the funniest men who has ever lived, is in one of his best ever dramatic parts. I was privileged to do the press day for this at the Cannes Film Festival back in whatever it was, 92, 93. Wow, what a beautiful time. I mean, everybody was just on the beach at Cannes talking to Billy Connolly and Judi Dench. Those were the days, Mark. Here I am stuck talking to you.
Oh, I wish I was in Cannes, having eggplant pizza at La Pizza.
Well, anyway, this is the story of the relationship between the widowed Queen Victoria and her manservant, her Scottish manservant, John Brown. And it's a lovely story and just incredible performances, directed by John Madden, who would go on to do...
he's the
Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah, the football coach.
No, Shakespeare in Love.
Anyway, so bam... Judi Dench, by the way, you know who's turning...
Japanese?
You know who has I love that album, The Vapors. I have both their albums.
Yeah.
Martha Stewart has a birthday this week.
This week?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Guess how old Martha Stewart is going to be?
75.
Really? 70?
I don't know.
70 years old.
Really?
Doesn't that seem bizarre to you? Wouldn't you think she'd be like 55?
Yeah. Weird. She's really gonna be 70.
She is celebrating her 70th birthday this week.
My goodness.
A friend of mine actually.
You know what it is? It's because she spent those last 15 in prison. Yes. That's why we've missed her.
When she was under house arrest and she had the ankle bracelet thing, a friend of mine was working on one of her shows, and so he had to spend time with her in her compound.
Oh boy!
And I'll never forget. He says to me, I've never experienced a moment when Martha Stewart said to me, "Would you like some hot chocolate?"
Oh, my.
And the idea that Martha Stewart is actually making me hot chocolate. He said, I will never forget that. He also said that Martha Stewart has no friends.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's sad.
Friendless.
That's terribly sad. We also have a Miramax film here called Carolina, which was kind of a misfire, and it's too bad. It's better than... Well, it's not as good as it should be, but it's better than anybody gave it credit for being. Does that sound like a diplomatic way of kind of splitting the difference here?
It sucks.
All right. Julia Stiles, Shirley MacLaine, Alessandro Nivola. I really like Alessandro Nivola. This is one of those movies about, there's always a crazy old broad in these movies, and it's usually played by Shirley MacLaine. And, this is just sort of the difference. Well, there's a little bit of ab-fab in this, right? I
never liked that show.
You don't like ab-fab?
No.
Why?
You love ab. You love all those shows.
I love ab-fab.
All that BBC crap.
Gosh.
What is wrong with you?
I love it. Anyway, Julia Stiles, of course, is the saner latter generation, and Shirley MacLaine is the wackier older generation, and Alessandro Nivola is the knight in shining armor. It's a nice little family drama. Everybody who has a dysfunctional family will relate to it, but not a great film, but an okay film. And it's out on DVD, not Blu-ray, just regular DVD again. A film I love is Playing by Heart. This is a tremendous movie that features, believe it or not, a young Jon Stewart surprisingly good as an actor.
Well, Stewart flirted with a movie career.
He did
back before he
really did
went into talk shows.
Yeah, no, he's good, but I mean, he's really good in this, and Jay Moore is in this, and it's amazing. Now the real names in this: Angelina Jolie, Sean Connery, Ellen Burstyn, Jenna Rollins, Madeline Stowe, Ryan Felipe. You know, there's a big cast here, and it's impossible to actually describe the plot of this movie, because it'll give everything away. Suffice to say, there are intersecting dramatic threads that all converge. But it is a really, really good movie, and I'm sorry that it's kind of fallen between the cracks. Written and directed by Willard Carroll, who's gone on to do nothing. Nothing. Like nothing of note. But really a terrific film, and you got to get this. If you haven't seen it, you owe it to yourself to rent this. This is Playing by Heart. Last in this little Miramax flurry that we have here is the Oscar winner for 2005 Best Foreign Language Film, Tsotsi, which is quite a good film. I didn't think it was the best film of that year, but Gavin Hood, the South African director who did this, of course, went on to the much greater and grander
Wolverine.
Thank you.
By the way,
and now I don't know what he's doing, but
the music for that film.
Strange.
The music for that film by Paul Hepker. It's
pretty great.
It's a great score, and Paul, of course, is a friend of ours. He's a friend of our buddy Ian Hirons.
Yep. And Tsotsi's it is a really, really good film. Again, not probably the best of that year, but it's a very good film. Captures a certain, captures. It captures a certain class issue in South Africa that isn't something that people typically think about when they think of South Africa. And it is a foreign language film. It is not English. It's in indigenous languages, and definitely worth catching if you haven't seen it. So Echo Bridge landed another really good one here. Mark,
Top Gear. Kids love the Top Gear.
Kids love the Top Gear, or everybody loves the Top Gear?
I know.
Top Gear, American Top Gear is not like the British Top Gear.
Yeah, the British Top Gear is cooler. They race cooler cars, and everybody has an accent, and it looks good.
Well, they have better talent.
They really do.
Writers.
They do. But you know what? I mean, the good thing is that they're also testing cars that aren't necessarily available here. Like a Nissan 370Z. The Z series, when we were growing up. Do you remember the Z series?
Oh, yeah.
240Z, 260, 280, the 300.
300.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Halo Jump.
They were Datsuns back then.
I know. That's bizarre. Dodge Viper. It's good stuff. This is a good show. It's fun. It's hosted by comedians, so you're not getting like all this, really dry mechanical talk. It's good stuff. This is Top Gear, the complete first season.
The American version.
Wade.
Yeah.
I have something I would like to tell you. Oh, Stu Ball was a racehorse, and I wish he was mine. He never drank water. He only drank wine.
Thank you. I actually heard that sung live.
Did you really?
I did.
From them?
No, well, from one of them.
Peter, Paul, or Mary?
Peter.
Peter.
He came and visited our junior high and sang funny songs to us, and we didn't really understand why Peter, from some group that none of us had ever heard of, was coming to our junior high to sing stuff to us.
My father had Peter, Paul, and Mary's Greatest Hits on cassette, I think, and I kind of got hooked on him.
Yeah.
And I used to listen to Peter Paul. I'm such a...
Put
it this way. Instead of like Pink Floyd or the Beatles,
I
was listening to freaking Peter, Paul, and Mary. Such a loser. Anyway, on DVD is Peter, Paul, and Mary 25th Anniversary Concert. First time on DVD. This includes, by the way, songs that you may not realize that they wrote. Puff the Magic Dragon, the classic song about marijuana.
Yeah.
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Yeah.
Leave It on a Jet Plane. Don't Know When I'll Be Back Again.
Mm-hmm.
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Hot-Blooded.
Also, Blowing in the Wind, the Bob Dylan,
Yeah.
which Bob Dylan made famous. Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Pretty amazing.
If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land, I'd hammer out danger.
All that folky stuff.
It's good stuff. Not good is Twisted Sister. Twisted Sister, Dee Snider, not my favorite band.
It seems like we've done like 5 Twisted Sister releases in just the last couple of months.
That's 5 too many.
Anyway.
There's 2 discs here. This is one is a concert from 1982. The second is a New York concert from 2001. And I'm just...
Are you over the Dee Snider?
I really am. The only thing interesting is that you do get to see the band, 20 years apart, in 82 and 2001. You see how they've aged. You get a sense of how their vocal range has becoming more limited as they age. You know, you get a sense of how their there are certainly arthritic knees and elbows start affecting their performance, but they still love to rock. There's no doubt about it.
Arthritic knees. That's funny. Kiss will be rocking all the way. They'll be dragging IVs.
No, let me
and
tell you something.
bags.
No. Let me tell you something. About 2 months ago, I was coming out of a screening, and I went into the Gelson's. Gelson's is a high-end supermarket in Los Angeles.
Except for the one near you, it's kind of ghetto. You sort of live near the ghetto Gelson's.
I know. I was just in there the other day.
Yeah.
For the first time, I'd never been in there. The one in Century City is a big-time Gelson's.
Oh, that's a nice one.
And in walks Gene Simmons, who I'd never seen in person, I don't think.
Oh, really?
And let me tell you something. Gene Simmons, he is doddering. I mean, somehow he carries himself in such a way that even though he's walking really slowly, he's walking in an old man slow fashion, but because he's Gene Simmons and he's very tall and he has good posture, that old man slowness kind of makes it almost look like a Clint Eastwood cool saunter. But you know what? He is old.
About 15 years ago, I saw Ozzy Osbourne in the drugstore in Pacific Palisades.
I bet he spent a lot of time in drugstores.
And you know what? He was shuffling like he just could not get it together. And then, of course, they made a reality show, and everyone thought that was funny.
And the thing is that Gene Simmons, he was born in '49, so he's only 63 or something.
Yeah.
But he's lived a pretty hard life.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of drugs, a lot of girls, whatever. By the way, his real name, Chaim Weitz.
Yeah, I knew that.
Smart guy, actually.
Yeah, very smart guy.
We got one more music DVD to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
Kate Bush. Now, people don't remember Kate Bush. She's kind of fallen off the radar. You know why? Because the thing with Kate Bush is that
talented lady, cool
very
voice.
Very talented, cool voice, big in the 70s and 80s. Her output is very sparse, and I don't even know the last time she came out with an album. But Kate Bush, A Life of Surprises, the story so far, is a 180-minute documentary all about her. It is not authorized by Kate Bush herself, so don't know what that means. Because the information is certainly all there, and I think really the question is, why does Kate Bush never record? I don't even know the last time this girl did an album. But she's very talented. Running Up That Hill was one of my favorite songs of that era growing up. And it's good stuff. Rare footage, archive interviews, contributions from those who knew her and played with her. Kate Bush, A Life of Surprises. If you know Kate Bush, you'll dig it. If you don't know Kate Bush,
you're
coaster.
Not care. Coaster.
Yes.
Okay. We have a little pile here of what's the deal with these Blu-rays this week. That's the theme for this little pile. We're back into the Miramax Echo Bridge group here, but the question is, I mean, of the Miramax stuff we talked about this week, like Satsi. Why not put Satsi on Blu-ray? Why would you put Hellraiser Hellworld on Blu-ray?
Because it's awesome.
It's not, though. It's just not. It's not good at all. Like
it's not good at all.
It's not good at all. Like enough already with the Hellraiser things. Should not be on Blu-ray. From Dusk Till Dawn 3, The Hangman's Daughter. What? Really? Seriously? A third? Why?
Because,
what's the point of this?
Because it is a name that people recognize. So when they're drifting down the aisles of their Best Buy or their local video store and they see, From Dusk Till Dawn.
No.
By the time they realize it's From Dusk Till Dawn 3, The Hangman's Daughter, they've already hooked you into looking at the DVD package.
There should not have been a second one. No. Don't Be a Menace?
Oh, Don't Be a Menace to the Hood when you're...
Well, the complete title, which they print in very, very tiny itty-bitty type, is Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
I don't get it.
References South Central and juice and all those hood
movies.
Hood and
Menace to Society.
Yeah, no, not good. This is Sean and Marlon Wayans.
See, they did a lot of these spoof movies. Back when the Zuckers kind of either lost their mojo or people wanted edgier comedy. I don't know what it was. The Wayans brothers took over that whole thing.
Yeah, and
but they're not funny.
No, this isn't the least bit funny. This is terrible.
You know what? I will say I caught some of a superhero movie, whatever it's called, on cable. It was kind of funny.
Really?
Kind of.
Okay. Well,
I mean, they threw it all against the wall. It's one of those movies. They threw it all against the wall. Some of it was funny. Some of it wasn't.
Well, this was directed by Paris Barkley, who was a good TV director. You remember that? Paris Barkley directed like a lot of NYPD Blues, and he was like a seriously good TV director.
And now he's not.
He has no career whatsoever. The next one is a double feature called Epics of 2 Tinto Brass movies. Now, you know what that means, and they know what that means, because we always make fun and say Tinto Brass, who, of course, is most famous for directing the absolute debacle that became Caligula. And all the rest of his movies are basically just softcore Italian movies that feature lots of women in stiletto heels walking around in garter belts with stockings and their butts hanging out. That's what he does. A lot of bare butts and garter belts and stiletto heels. And sure enough, both of these movies, the artwork features 2 women, stiletto heels, garter belts, butt sticking out. The one here you've probably heard of is Mon Amour, and the one you probably haven't heard of is Kick the Cock, otherwise known as The New Maid. Why are these on Blu-ray? I don't know. Maybe somebody out there needs the higher resolution to focus on. Mystery to me. I'm sure some of the stuff, Cult Epics has a lot of great stuff in their library, but why they would release these on Blu-ray, I'm a little mystified.
He's a culty guy.
Yes.
Tinto Brass is a cult guy.
Yeah, well.
Some people appreciate that.
And then we have, for some reason, the 10th anniversary edition of Donnie Darko.
What do you mean for some reason? It's Donnie Darko.
Well, it's been released already. Like, why dip into this well again?
This is a 4-disc set.
Oh, my gosh.
4 discs.
Digital copy, 2 DVDs, and a Blu-ray. This is their 10th anniversary edition, and it is, fine, 4 discs, loaded with extras and commentaries and more stuff about Donnie Darko than I ever really could care.
I like this film.
But he's done nothing else.
Well, Southland Tales was the worst film of that year. Gosh. Dreadful film.
One-trick pony.
Looks like.
Do you even think the director's cut of Donnie Darko is that great compared to just the regular theatrical cut?
The theatrical's fine.
It's perfectly fine.
I mean, the movie is so out of its mind anyway that do I need like 20 minutes more of it being out of its mind?
No. And here's another tragedy. Dylan Routh, who almost could have had a career playing Superman over and over and over again.
You know what? I felt, it's such a difficult part to cast, and they cast this guy, this former bartender, Brandon Routh, and he was good in it. You can't blame him.
Fine. No, you can't blame him, but it's unfortunate. Anyway, he shows up now in straight-to-video Blu-ray here called Dylan Dog, D-Y-L-A-N, Dylan Dog, Dead of Night. This is basically just it's like the Night Stalker done up all kind of action film style. He's a detective, and he's got to deal with all that weird monstery stuff, and I don't know, this kind of thing's been done a lot, and it's being done tons on television, and I just don't find any of it all that compelling. And then lastly, this USA, weird thing.
Yeah, this is.
I don't get this.
It's a strange it's a strange approach. USA has a show called Burn Notice, and Burn Notice is it's a moderately popular show. But what they did was they made a film called Burn Notice: The Fall of Sam Axe, and it is a full-length feature, and it's sort of like it's a side story. It's not a sequel. It's not a prequel. It's like, from the secret files of Burn Notice comes this adjunct story, and it's all about this guy named Sam Axe, played by Bruce Campbell.
Yep.
And, the movie is no better or worse than an episode of Burn Notice. It's got a little more money towards it, so there's a couple more explosions. But, if you don't like Burn Notice, you're surely not going to like this. And Bruce Campbell, of course, of the Heroic Chin, stars in the film doing his old Bruce Campbell-y thing. And, it's a strange... this is sort of this is the TV version of a straight-to-DVD movie spinoff. Like, do you remember when they...
it's just an odd thing to do.
I
don't know that any of the Blu-ray collectors out there are just going to be jumping and crawling all over themselves to get this into their library.
No. Do you remember when the Steve Carell Get Smart came out, and immediately they released straight to Blu-ray, straight to DVD, a movie featuring 2 of the supporting characters from the Get Smart film, and they pretty much spun them off into their own straight-to-DVD movie.
Yeah.
This is like that. This is like the TV version of that. They have spun off Sam Axe into his own straight-to-DVD movie. I'd pass.
Very freaking peculiar. You know what you don't pass on, even though they're just complete programmers? as far as Blu-ray is concerned, is Blues Brothers and Animal House, both out now on Blu-ray.
Oh, come on.
That's fine. I mean,
they're great films.
They're great films, but they've done really next to nothing with them. Universal is just kind of spitting them out, which Fox and Universal are doing this a lot, and Paramount a little bit too. And it kind of bothers me. It's like now they're trying to just get the Blu-rays out there because they've kind of given up on the idea of being able to price Blu-rays at $30 and $40 a piece. So now they figure, okay, if we can keep Blu-rays going at DVD prices for a little while, we can sustain the packaged market, and we can maybe, until streaming takes off. It's not a very organized business approach. Everybody's kind of treading water.
And the thing is that the studios have to decide what is a catalog title and what is a legacy title. Like to me, Blues Brothers and Animal House is a legacy title.
Yeah, absolutely. It should have been a big deal on Blu-ray, but instead they're just kind of spitting them out. And yeah, it's a good upgrade. I mean, it's okay, but they didn't really do it up right.
That is true.
All right, Mark, let's do some TV.
Oh, it's Wade's favorite part of the show. All of his crappy British TV.
All right, I'm going to blow through the British TV stuff real quick.
God.
Super fast, because we got some other good stuff. There's a lot of Doctor Who here today. Doctor Who here today.
Doctor Who cares?
Doctor Who here. Doctor Who. The first one, of course, is the new Doctor Who, which is Series 6 Part 1, which is kind of a big deal. And I gotta be honest, I'm kind of getting on board a little bit. Not completely, but we'll see. Matt Smith he's a good Who, and I'd like to see him in something other than Doctor Who, but we got to wait for him to kind of run through the whole. Kind of run the course with the Who part, and then he'll move into something else. Everybody has to kind of do their time in Doctor Who. Anyway, some interesting stuff here. It's a much higher production value, and if you've been following it, you will find it irresistible. Then we also have some stuff from the Peter Davison years, 82 to 84. This is The Awakening. And then from the William Hartnell years, 63 to 66, The Gunfighters. Hartnell is a really interesting Who, and this is obviously going way, way back. One of the old guys. He's one of the old crusty old dudes.
Well, it's funny how
we've gone from old guys to young guys.
Yes,
Yeah.
You can't have a main character of a modern show be old.
Very true.
Be over 35?
What?
He's 40?
I know, isn't that weird?
Oh my gosh,
Jim
he's
Rockford.
40.
Jim Rockford. Where would he be today?
He'd be beaten up on the side of the road.
Yeah, well. Anyway. All right, what else we got?
Oh, is this me?
Yeah.
Supernatural, the anime series, is on Blu-ray. This is an interesting little project because Supernatural was a live-action series, ladies and gentlemen, and it has been reimagined as an anime series. Total blessing of the original showrunner, series creator. They take the first 2 seasons and they kind of make them into anime. And it's kind of cool. I mean, I don't really like Supernatural. I don't really like this show, but I will say that I appreciate the attempt to take a live-action thing and reconceptualize it. So this is 2 discs, 22 episodes. Interesting stuff. Supernatural Blu-ray. Supernatural, the anime series.
Very cool.
Jersey Shore, Season 3, The End of Civilization. I don't know these people. I don't like these people. I don't get it. It's all a bunch of phony crap anyway.
What is funnier is the spin-off they do on Jimmy Fallon. I find that very funny.
You know what? why do I want to live in this world?
I don't.
I mean, honestly, come on, people. Dina and Snooki, and it's so soul-suckingly horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, we'll make, and you know what? You can't blame these guys. Look, these guys now make like $100,000 an episode. I mean, these guys will be rich. Yes, they renegotiated their deal in the for the new season.
What's wrong with our world?
They make like $100,000 an episode. I mean, these guys are nobodies from nowhere. I just don't get it. What. Forget it. It's not worth it.
Okay, the Bretts. A lot of people haven't heard of this.
Sabrettes, the New York hot dog. Sabrettes.
No. Oh my gosh, what an obscure reference.
Yeah,
Where'd that come from?
You said Sabrettes.
Go back to sleep.
I was just dozing, by the way, not sleeping.
The Bretts. This is the complete collection, a 19-episode series from British television. Very, very cool. It's kind of like what Upstairs, Downstairs is to the whole aristocratic arrangement with, master and servant. This is to the British stage, to a dramatic family of actors.
So it's upstage, downstage.
Oh, there you go. Everybody always looking to upstage somebody else. Terrific actors, a lot of fun, and it doesn't overstay its welcome because it's only 19 episodes, which is about 15, 16 hours, something like that. And then the endless spy series, MI5, is out now with Volume 9. You know, it's a cool series. I don't know that I can take 9 volumes of it, but cool enough. You know, they've kept it going really nicely. Good production value, great acting. And you know, British spies better than American spies because they're debonair. They're debonair, Mark.
But better than that, Israeli spies.
Oh yeah.
You know, Wade, there was a show in the '60s, early '60s. Dennis the Menace.
Oh yeah.
Dennis the Menace, of course, is the classic cartoon character who is not that hip anymore. In fact, really, what cartoons are? You know, what comic strips are really all that hip anymore? I mean, like it all died with Calvin and Hobbes. And the Far Side. When Calvin and Hobbes and the Far Side left, it was like...
And the whole Outland Bloom County opus sequence. Once that's all done, I'm done.
Do we really need more Beetle Bailey?
No.
Like, do we need more of the Lockhorns?
No.
As I've said many times before, the only funny comic, the only classic comic that will live forever is Get Fuzzy. Get Fuzzy is hilarious, and I love Get Fuzzy. Otherwise, it's over. Anyway, Dennis the Menace is available now on the live-action version. From the 60s, available on DVD. This is the complete second season. 38 episodes, 1960, 1961. And,
funny, I don't know that it dates that well.
No, come on, this is crap.
I enjoyed it when I was a kid, you know. He's a mischievous kid, and I was a mischievous kid, and, you know, whatever.
It's just so... yeah, you know what, if you're a kid, I guess you're not that discriminating in your entertainment. I guess you'll dig it. But really, it's the worst.
Thank you. You know, Conan the Adventurer, Season 1, is an animated show that really has no purpose in existing.
Well, there's a new Conan movie coming out, which looks terrible.
It looks awful.
It really does.
I don't know why they would remake that. I just don't.
It's like they want to take a character who, to me, really is just a low-budget B-movie character.
He really is.
And they want to throw $40 million at it and make it into something.
Well, anyway, this is, you know what, this just never, ever should have been an animated TV show because so much of Conan is in the artwork that graced the books, which is all that Frank Frazetta stuff. And this just kind of Filmations up the whole thing and makes it just so goofy.
You know how much I hate Filmation.
I know you do, and I like Filmation, but that kind of animation never should have been applied here. That's just not a good thing. Conan the Adventurer Season 1 for those of you that like it, but another one that we really, we love this so much, Mark. What do we love?
We do?
No, we don't.
Young Justice, Season 1, Volume 1 of Young Justice. This is sort of the this is like
the sequel to Baby Justice, where the
exactly.
where the Justice League met in preschool, and how they formed alliances that would last a lifetime.
I think someday Young Justice will meet Scooby-Doo babies. Will then meet Star Trek Starfleet Academy, the aborted Star Trek show. Anyway, Young Justice is all about Robin, Aqualad, Kid Flash, Miss Martian, Artemis, the Young Justice League.
Not good.
No, it's really not.
This is Season 1, Volume 1, and the whole youthification of... Look, superheroes are youth-oriented already enough to begin with. Why do we have to make them even younger? Why does everything have to be baby and teenage?
But you realize that Superman, I believe, is like 32 years old, maybe 34. Like in the comic. Superman is 32. He's either 32 or 34.
He should be.
And if you're like 10 years old and you're reading about a 34-year-old...
Cool.
That's your dad.
So? Exactly. Who wouldn't want Superman for a dad?
I wouldn't.
And then Stargate Atlantis, the complete series on Blu-ray. I know, you've been waiting for it, right? All 5 seasons and all those special features in a wonderful door-stopping brick. That just, you know, we hate this show. But I will say this. The Blu-ray quality, impeccable. Really impeccable. The story's terrible.
Well, the show's well shot.
Yeah, no, it's a really well-shot show. Great special effects. But come on, really? It's Christmas time, maybe, as a gift. All right, with that, we're done. And even though Stupid for Movies will exist no more, or perhaps not for
no more with us.
No more with us, but we are still here. Your weekly Digigods.
Digigods.com, by the way.
Digigods.com. See you next week.